In our previous lecture, we have studied about nutrition in plants by the process of photosynthesis. Now, in this lecture, I will be teaching you about nutrition in unicellular organisms and nutrition in human beings. So, what are unicellular organisms? All those organisms which have a single cell in their body and all their life activities, all their life processes are conducted by the single cell only. They are the unicellular organisms, like for example amoeba and paramecium. So the mode of nutrition in paramecium and amoeba is heterotrophic, that is holozoic, and amoeba, it is an omnivorous animal and it feeds on unicellular algae and diatoms. Now the steps which are involved in the nutrition of unicellular organisms are, the first step is ingestion. So amoeba, it does not have an oral aperture and food is captured by finger like extensions from the cell surface which are called pseudopodia. And in paramecium, the body have a definite shape and the food is taken in a specific site which is called mouth, and the process of ingestion in amoeba is in the form of solid food particles which is called as phagocytosis, and the food gets enclosed in a vesicle which is called food vacuole. Now the second step is digestion. So in unicellular organisms, diatoms is intracellular, that is within the cell inside food vacuole. Here what happens, tiny lysosomes with the digestive enzymes, they fuse with the food vacuole and release enzymes and complete the process of digestion. After the process of digestion, another step is absorption, and in absorption the digested food is diffused into the cell cytoplasm, and then comes the assimilation. So the assimilation means to the nutrients, they are absorbed and then they are used for growth, repair, energy and storage. Then after that, the fifth step is egestion. So in amoeba what happens, digested residue which is left is expelled out by exocytosis at any point on the body surface. Now we'll start with the topic nutrition in human beings. So you can see the diagram. It is the diagram of alimentary canal and which are associated with the digestive glands. So human beings, they are omnivorous, and human beings, they feed on different parts of plants like root, shoot, fruit, seeds, etc. And they also consume the animal products like eggs, milk, meat, etc. So when we start with the nutrition in human beings, the food we eat is broken down into simpler molecules in the digestive system, and the digestive system comprises of two sets of organs, and these are alimentary canal and digestive glands. So when we talk about alimentary canal is about 9 meters long coiled food tube which opens at both the ends. This alimentary canal, it begins from the mouth and ends with anus, and you can see that alimentary canal consists of mouth and buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Small intestine is further divided into duodenum, jejunum and ileum, and large intestine consists of caecum, colon and rectum. So we'll start with the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal, it is about 9 meters long and coiled food tube. It consists of buccal cavity and mouth. So when we talk about the buccal cavity and mouth, buccal cavity is the space where food is chewed, softened and mixed with saliva. Its opening is called mouth. Mouth, it what happens, the mouth, it is It opens into buccal cavity, which is bordered by the upper and lower jaws. The jaws are covered by the cheeks on the sides and by the lips in the front. Now teeth are also present, and teeth are the hardest non-bony structures. These are partially embedded in bony sockets of jaw bones, and human teeth, they are thecodont, heterodont, diaphodont. So thecodont teeth, they are fastened into the sockets of jaw bones, and heterodont types of teeth, they are different types of teeth which are modified for biting, cutting and chewing. And diaphodont, that is they develop twice, first as milk teeth and later on as the permanent teeth. Now after this buccal cavity and mouth, when we talk about the pharynx, it is a funnel shaped passage behind soft palate, where food channel and air channel cross each other. Now when we talk about this pharynx, it consists of esophagus and air channel or windpipe, which forms the larynx and trachea. Esophagus is what? Esophagus is just the conducting part of the food material, and no digestion takes place in esophagus. Now coming on stomach, it is an elongated J-shaped muscular bag. It lies below the diaphragm, and the lining of stomach wall contains numerous gastric glands. These glands secrete gastric juices, hydrochloric acid and mucus. So when we talk about the functions of stomach, it stores food until it is partially digested. It secretes gastric juice, and which helps in digestion, and hydrochloric acid is present, which kills bacteria that enters stomach along with the food. After this stomach, small intestine is present, and small intestine is about 6 meters long tube, around 2.5 centimeter. It consists of duodenum, jejunum and ileum. So duodenum is C-shaped intestine, about 25 centimeter long. Its descending limb receives openings. Jejunum is long and narrow than duodenum, and ileum is about 3.5 meters long. The inner lining of intestine is produced into finger-like projections, which are known as villi, and this villi is only the part which helps in increasing the area for absorption. And intestinal mucus contains numerous Brunner's gland, and the digestive enzymes which are present in it bring about a complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. Now coming on large intestine is wider than the small intestine. It consists of mainly 3 parts, or it is divided mainly into 3 parts, that is cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum, it is a small pouch. The opening of small intestine into cecum is controlled by the ileocecal valve, which permits the food to move down into the large intestine and not back. And from cecum arises a blind tube, the vermiform appendix. So in man it has no function, and it is a vestigial organ. Vermiform appendix is a vestigial organ. Then talking about colon, it is inverted U-shaped tube which is divided into 4 main parts, namely ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. Then comes the rectum. Rectum, it is a long terminal tube that opens to the exterior by anus, and anus is guarded by anal sphincter muscles. So the functions of large intestine, you can see in the diagram. The functions of the large intestine are absorption of water from the food, secretion of mucus, egestion of undigested waste matter. Now we will talk about the digestive glands that is associated with the alimentary canal. So these digestive glands are the salivary glands, liver and pancreas. So three pairs of salivary glands, they open into the buccal cavity, and they look like clusters of grapes, and they secrete saliva. Saliva is actually it is slightly alkaline, and the pH of saliva is 7.2. It the function of saliva is that it lubricates and moistens the food. It binds the food particles into a bolus for easy swallowing, and the enzyme which is present in saliva is known as ptyalin or salivary amylase, which converts starch into maltose. And saliva, it is an antiseptic. It contains lysozyme which kills germs present in food and in the mouth. Now coming on gastric glands. So gastric glands are present in the stomach, and they release hydrochloric acid, mucus and a protein digestive enzyme called pepsin. Now when we talk about liver, liver is the largest gland in the body, and it is reddish brown, and it weighs about 1.5 kilogram. And liver consists of hepatic cells, and liver produces bile juice which is stored in gallbladder and is released in duodenum. Now we'll talk about pancreas. So pancreas, they are the leaf-like structure. It is a leaf-like gland, and it is both exocrine and endocrine gland. So that is why it is known as dual gland. In pancreas, the islets of Langerhans are present, and they produce insulin and glucagon hormones which are associated with the metabolism of glucose. The pancreatic duct release pancreatic juice in the duodenum. So that's all for this topic, and in my next video I will be explaining you the